This is Extra Paycheck Podcast, episode number 124.
You're listening to Extra Paycheck Podcast, where you will learn how to build and grow your own successful online business. Now, here's your host, Alex Soul.
Welcome to yet another episode of the Extra Paycheck Podcast. This is episode number 124, and today we will be talking about writing your own book to promote your brand, your business, or yourself. Before we dive into the episode, I would like to ask you a simple question. If you have been following my podcast, you probably noticed that I've been doing a lot of these shorter solo episodes compared to longer interview episodes that I used to do quite often on this podcast. And I've been getting emails and feedback from some people who tell me they prefer the interview podcast while others prefer the shorter podcast one that I do myself without a guest. And I would love to hear your opinion on these two completely different formats for the podcast and which you prefer. I probably will keep doing both of them, but depending on how people feel and depending on the feedback, I'll probably do one of them more often than the other one. So please do let me know which format you prefer. This will help me a lot and it will help me concentrate on making this podcast better and providing you with better content. Now let's dive into the actual podcast. Should you write a book to promote your brand, your business, or yourself? I've read a lot of nonfiction books on marketing, different parts and strategies of running a business and starting a business, and I enjoyed most of these books. And what I figured out that most of the books that are doing well or that did well were not made for the specific reason of making money. And once again, I mean nonfiction books. Most of these books were created to teach you something, to share an experience, to share the knowledge, and also to serve an audience of some sort, including me. I'm part of that audience that wants to learn about marketing. Also, what I've noticed is that a lot of books that are written with the sole purpose of making millions of dollars, or when the author wants to become famous and wants to become a bestseller, those books usually fail because, in my opinion, those are wrong reasons to write a book. The odds are against you when you're publishing a book, and there are so many different reasons for it. One of them being is that the niche that you're writing this book for might just be too small and you're not going to sell thousands of copies simply because there aren't enough people to buy that book. Your book might be not as good as you think it is or as you hoped it would be, and once again, you wouldn't get many sales. You might lack marketing or promotions, and there are just so many other reasons why books do not become bestsellers. So I think, once again, writing a book for the only purpose of making millions of dollars off of it, or for the purpose of becoming super famous and world known because of the book, is the wrong reason to write the book. I think the main reason to write a book, especially non-fiction book, should be to serve your audience and to help people achieve something in their life by reading that book. So if we go back to the initial question of this podcast, should you write a book? Well, I think you should. I think everyone should at least try to write a book for the simple reason of understanding how hard it is and what kind of dedication it takes. I know that I personally wanted to write a book since I was a little kid. I always thought that, it would be so cool to have your own book. And as I was growing up, of course, that idea kind of faded and stayed in the background until only a few years ago, when I got this idea again and I thought, okay, I really need to have my own book. I need to publish a book. And this happened because I feel like I have so much experience to share, so much knowledge that I could share on the subject of marketing, online marketing, and so on, that I thought if I write a good enough book, it will help people get started or it will help people move their business forward. And all those experiences and thoughts and ideas that I have will definitely help someone, regardless of how many copies that book sells, even just a single copy. And if that single copy helps someone, I would be super happy. I'm sure that a lot of people, and probably including you, dreamt of having their own book. And that's another reason why you probably should do it. If you never write that book, if you never fail or succeed, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering, what if you actually did go through? What if you actually wrote your life story or your memoirs or your experiences or whatever that is you wanted to write about, what if you actually did it? What would have happened? Another reason for writing a book is I think it's very beneficial for your brand. When you publish a book, and especially if it's a good one with good information, good advice, it'll add authority and credibility to you and your brand. You will certainly seem more of an expert in your niche when you publish that book. And simply writing a book takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of effort. And that alone makes you more of an expert on things than other people because you actually stuck through it and you did it until the end. Those are just a few reasons why I think everyone should write a book or at least try to do it. So about a year and a half ago, when I actually figured out the subject or the outline of the subject for that nonfiction book that I want to write, I still didn't take any action. I procrastinated for the same reason most people procrastinate when they want to do something new or something different or something they have never done before. The process of writing that book seemed very hard and daunting, and I was completely overwhelmed with all the little bits and pieces that come into writing and publishing a book. I had no idea where to start, how to format it, how to break it into chapters, or what kind of sentence should I even begin the book with. There are just so many things that are completely new to me, and all the stuff being new kind of kept me away from starting to write that book. The same happened when I started my blog. The same happened when I started a podcast. If you've listened to previous episodes, I've shared that information that I wanted to start a podcast a lot earlier than I did, but I always kept putting it off for later and later and later because I was overwhelmed and I had no idea where to begin. Okay, so what changed now? As I mentioned, I am starting to work on my very first book. And this is happening simply because I do hang out in that online marketing space. I've done an episode or even a few episodes explaining why it's so important to network in your niche, to network in your industry, and why it's so important to connect with influencers and other people that work in the same industry that you do. And I'm not just talking about it, I'm actually doing that. I am involved in several meetups and groups and so on. And one of the people that I follow closely online is Pat Flynn, that you may know from the Smart Passive Income. So Pat Flynn is launching a new course. It's a physical course, and it will help people to write the very first draft of their book. This is a physical course, and Pat Flynn was looking for beta testers to take that course for a ride and to give him feedback and to hopefully write our books using that course. Now, I know that hundreds, if not thousands of people signed up to become beta testers for that course, and I was one of the lucky ones that got selected. I think there are 20 people or 21 people that were accepted to beta test that program. Now, that was a few months ago, and just recently I received a package from Smart Passive Income, and I completely forgot what it was. I actually forgot that I signed up for that test. So I got a guide to writing the very first draft of my book. It also came with a calendar and a whole bunch of different perks and things to make the process flow better and to make it easier in a way, to be more motivated. And it came with a very specific flow of things so people like I don't get overwhelmed and simply quit because it seems complicated. There is a very specific process to follow, and if you follow that through, you are supposed to have your very first draft within 90 days or so. Now, this whole course also comes with a private Slack channel where I can communicate with the other 20 people in this group, as well as Pat Flynn and his team, and they will be helping us to write that book and go through the materials, and of course, we'll be sending them feedback about that course, and we'll be telling them what we love about it, what's missing, what needs improvement, and what they should do to make this course even better and easier to follow. So this is something very, very interesting. I'm very happy that I got this package that I'm going to test it, and I'm very happy that I'll be working with people like Pat Flynn and his team, because I know for a fact that these kind of folks are very serious and they will help me as much as they possibly can to make this dream of mine become a reality. To be honest, I'm a week late by now because when I received the package, I was actually away from the city. I was away from the internet. I was camping for a week. Now I came back to the city. I'm going to start working on it. But in a few weeks, I'm leaving to a festival, which will take another 10 days away from my business, and I won't be able to get an internet connection. I probably wouldn't be able to work for those 10 days, but that's fine. I know that I need to do a total of 90 days to follow that course, and hopefully it will go well for me. If you want to keep up with this project, I'll probably be doing some blog posts or YouTube videos or maybe even another podcast, and I'll keep you updated on how it's all going. Now, also while I'm working on that project, I'll keep on doing the podcast, the blogs, and I'll keep working on other projects that I'm already working on. And I'll probably start looking for more information on how to market a book, how to promote a book properly, and how to get the most out of your book. Because once again, as I mentioned, helping people with that nonfiction book is the main priority, but also a good book could serve so much to a business or to a brand, especially if used and promoted properly. So if you have any tips or advice on promoting and marketing a book, if you worked in the industry or if you ever published your own book, I would love to hear from you. Simply get in touch with me by leaving a comment at extrapodcast.com/124 or send me an email. I would love to hear that. Also, if you ever thought of writing your own book, please do let me know what kind of book you wanted to write, and more importantly, why you wanted to write that book. And if you thought of writing a book and never did it, please do let me know why you didn't do it and what kind of help you think you would need to get that done actually. What kind of knowledge would you need to start writing that book and maybe finish writing it? To quickly recap this episode, yes, I do think that most people should write a book, or at least try to write a book, simply because the process is so hard and takes so much dedication that it will probably train you to work harder, to work better, to be more organized. And if you actually go through with it and finish that book, even if you don't sell it, even if you don't become a bestseller and make millions, it's still a really cool thing to have to give out to your friends, family, your business partners, people you know. And I think all in all, it's a great experience. So if you ever thought of writing a book, I think you should think harder about it and probably take some action to get that process started. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Extra Paycheck Podcast. Head over to extrapodcast.com/iTunes in order to subscribe to the show. Please do leave a rating and a review if you haven't already. That will help the show tremendously. Once again, thank you, and I'll talk to you next Monday.